me, I think the journey began as young as when I was 13. And when I spent time with, I think Christmas has been always my favorite time. And when I spent time with my mum making Christmas cake or plum cake, and that was the journey itself. But I'd have those little memories of my grandfather also telling me what was the right way of making it and all of that, and always encouraging us to bake at home and so all of that. It was never that grandparent who said, no, I think you should be careful with an oven. He said, it's okay, you learn that way, right? And I was always fascinated with fire, so that was, I think, heat is something that I really love. I was in this university and I realized that my passion was kitchen. So I came back to Bangalore and I had a 6-month break and sort of figured out what I want to do, and I applied to the Culinary Academy of India at Hyderabad. And that's, I think, where the whole real journey and the true passion that was cultivated for me within me. It's been a journey for understanding the kitchen as a whole, and then taking that one department which was pastry and focusing on that has been all about passion. And that's why when we look at Bangalore Connection 1888 today, it's legacy, passion and renaissance. I made sure my passion was focused as well. People assume if you know the recipe right and you know the formula right, you're going to get it all right. But if you have to tell me why my cake is broken on top, or why it's flat, or why it's that, I need a scientific reason. I need that, and that's what that course really gave me. It gave me all of that. It's a wonderful story of a legacy. I think in some ways, I'd really hope to, if someone recorded it much more better, or even in some way if I could record it into turning it into a book. Because this gentleman who's in the picture behind me, he's not just this fictional character. He's this person who's humble, who's been generous, who's been kind, who's been hardworking. The only skill he had known was how to make bread. That one loaf of bread is what brought him and brought all of us here today. And I think I'm eternally grateful. Is it really worth bringing back something that I have no idea about? Nobody gave me a book of recipes and said, here, this is for you. Yeah, they said, create it all over again, do it. So I think in some ways it's like, he's like, you do it my way, right? So 1888 was when he founded his bakery. What is the one thing that brings Bangaloreans together? It's not gardens, it's not parks, it's not cake, it's nostalgia. We're always talking about, oh, those good old days of Bangalore, oh, Airlines Hotel, oh. So I mean, it's that journey and it's that story. It's this city that brings us all together as nostalgia. And I said, this is it. I want to recreate old Bangalore. And it should be able to be done in, if they eat a cookie, they have to remember old Bangalore. If they walk into a space, they have to remember old Bangalore. We must not forget. December 8th celebrates a year of Bangalore Connection 1888's kitchen being set up. March this year is when we decided we were going to experiment with retail. The target was use 100% organic, ethically sourced, quality ingredients and use trained, qualified chefs making these products, and also make it accessible and affordable. That was a lot of filters to finally get that end product onto the table. This store, that one we're sitting in right now, has been the product of 9 months of research, has been of 3 months of design, of execution, and I think everything that you look around this store there was a thought and a process around it. When I wanted to start, my grandmother said, it melts in your mouth, this is what you have to recreate. So that's the kind of R&D I had to get into. Like, you know, no one told me ratio of flour to butter is to sugar. Nobody said that. I had to recreate all of that by myself. But we've come as close as we can. So this is our masala cookie, our almond, butter almonds, and then our all chocolate cookies. So we've sort of played with modern versions. We've also played with revival versions. So when you look at Bangalore Connection today, we have 2 menus. When you look at the revival menu, that's what R&D of 3 months really took and what we've come to. So our shortbreads, our breads, our donuts, our old Bangalore style donuts. I still remember in Bishop Cotton's going to the canteen and getting one of those donuts for 5 rupees. Those days have gone. But I'm trying to recreate that memory for the kids in the neighborhood to be able to come back here and buy it. So every child here gets a 10% to 20% discount, because to be able to get a discount, it makes that child feel a little happy. Bangalore Connection 1888 was started with one reason, not the revival. It was to make a sweet connection back to the past and to the today and to the future. As I said earlier, our past defines our today and our today defines our future. Right? I know money plays a large role, yes, it's not that I don't focus on it, but I don't have to show the fact that I have to constantly focus on it. You look at the response, this is that sweet connection of nostalgia, really bringing back that story and keeping it alive. So going ahead, I'd really like to expand. I'd look at maybe at least keeping it within the family for a few years and sharing the story, building a brand and rewriting my own story, I guess, because now it's all about Kupaswamy. Soon it will be about me, I'm sure. So I have to start doing my part.